Council meeting to order. If we could have roll call, please.
Councilman Clay?
Here.
Councilman Hughes?
Here.
Councilman Clunt?
Here.
Councilman Miners?
Here.
Councilman Schuyler?
Present.
Councilman Dean?
Here. If you'd all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, are there any conflicts of interest in today's meeting? Hearing none, we'd entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I will make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Schuyler, second by Hughes. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Do we have a motion on the regular agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to accept it.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Miners, second by Schuyler to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Off we go. As with every city council meeting, we have a 10-minute window allocated for public input. Is there anybody from the public that would like to address the council? Yes, please. Over here to the,
I think I can talk louder now.
okay,
I've had a problem with my house with the roofing coming off, and so I hadn't gotten to my mowing yet. And they came on Friday and mowed my yard. And I'd like to have an exemption of not having to pay the bill because I was intending to go out and mow that morning, and it already has 3/4 done.
okay. Mason is our attorney. I'll let him address this for
Yep,
you.
I'll address this. So our ordinance has a process to appeal a charge like this. That appeal would be taken through the finance officer. So if you would take a written appeal to the, so through at regular business hours, 8 to 5, if you take her that written note to the finance officer, and then she will give you a response. If it's denied by the finance officer, then you can go to the finance committee, which once this starts, she'll notify you of whether she approves or denies, and then when that finance committee meeting is. That would be your next step. After that, if there's still not a resolution, you can come back to full council to address it. But you would have to take those other first 2 steps.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Elma. Chandra, do we have any new hires?
We do. We have one new hire for the previous 2 weeks. And that is Justin Day at $23.41 per hour in the Corrections Department as a part-time LEO transport officer, 6-month probation and 0 benefits.
Very good, thank you. Department reports. Up first, Public Safety Commissioner Mitch Miller, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I have handed out a 2-page attachment with some things on the back of it for you to enjoy to read. We'll first go over the jail Today's count is 158. The second item is for the month average is 140. For the year average is 156. You can see the activity that is attached, movements of 29. So the guys were busy picking up and trying to make sure the numbers stay stable. Give a lot of credit to Administrator Jeff Augsburger for being proactive there, guys and gals. You can see this month they did do some provider visits at the hospital, and there were definitely some mental health visits as well. For the revenue source cycle for the month of July was 380,000 and some change, and the transports equaled 14,532. So add that up, it's about $394,000 for the month. 4 little points that we need to discuss real briefly. We're working on quarterly evaluations for the staff, trying to finish the 2025 budget process. New Marshall contract, remember back in May, we signed that, and the 1st of August here is we're going to be getting that agreed upon rate. So that will be coming probably 1st of September-ish. And then this is more so for the community out there that is listening. We are going to be doing siren testing tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I will repeat that. We're going to try the siren testing tomorrow at 10 a.m. If you wouldn't mind, Council and Mr. Mayor, flipping the page, and we'll look at the zoning, our planning and zoning and code enforcement report. There were 7 permits issued since the last report, and they are on the back of this page for you to look at. Code enforcement is averaging 7 to 8 lots mowed per week. And Dan is really working hard on trying to get a standard operating procedure done. And I wanted to promote this to you tonight a little bit on what he has been working on. This is the first time this has been done here in winter. It's a very important thing so we can figure out moving forward. So you can see he completed five procedure modules, and once we get the completed version of this, we will take it to committee for their approval. So any questions or comments, concerns?
Mitch, the billing, is that staying normal, or are we down, up, or how's that?
From month to month, it is gonna vary a little bit.
Right, but like year to year, or like this July to last July, how do we
You're
compare?
right on, according to Jeff's
Okay.
numbers, you were right on, Mr. Shaheen, so. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you.
Now, if we could have Public Works Director Troy Kruger, please.
Good evening. Water and sewer monthly samples, we had a couple of different main breaks over the past couple of weeks. Eisenhower Street and another one on Van Buren. They did some work out at the factored out Dave's porta potties at the airport and our pits. Fuel system for the whole city that we have down at the North Shop. With all these power interruptions that we've had some issues with that, so we're taking steps to correct that so it stops happening. Main lift station generator, it's our backup generation system for that down there. Water pump went out of it. We've got some mechanical issues with it, so we're getting that put back together today. So should have that back and going. Wells number 1 and 9 are done. So those are back online, so all 7 of our wells are up and running again. Those guys are still working on some water meters, low battery life, and locates parks and cemetery. They keeps raining, keep mowing, clean up from storms still a little bit in cemetery in the city park. They're doing a little staining and painting up at McDonald's Park on the shelter areas, maintenance on mowers, and their general stuff they do every day. I just make a note quick. Tomorrow afternoon, I think it starts at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, up in the city park. Golden West is having their fundraiser feed again that they did last year at the pool. So they're expecting a bunch of people, 400 or 500 people. So I think they're doing winter chicken dinner this year for the food. So light plant, a couple new poles out at the West Haven. We also did a bunch of tree trimming back there to get to our stuff. They went around and picked up all their construction debris from the storm, broken poles, wire, cross arms, etc. They're back to working over in that Eisenhower Roosevelt, trying to get underground back over there. So they're putting in more duct and basements and everything over there. We did find a couple of more poles in town that were cracked, and so we've changed those out. There's a gentleman from Harrisburg, I believe, that bought the This and That, and we trenched over to his property line so he could go underground with that, his property. So they took care of that last week. And then a bunch of alleyways that we just foresee some problems if we have another weather event. So they went through there with the help of the streets department. We trimmed up those alleyways really well so we could get into them, get out of them. Streets, we hauled all the trees from the storm that were north of our shop down where we pile snow out to the dump. And we did burn the dump, and we burned all those trees. So all the trees from the storm are gone, burnt up. So good job to Kelly and his guys for getting that done. Turn contaminated soil out there, as our permit requires us to do that once a month. And then they just worked on the landfill in general, a lot of picking up and getting things cleaned up after all the people were hauling trees out there, and the dump road got a little messy. We did the sidewalks and the streets last week on Thursday, and then rained again Saturday, so we'll be doing them again this week. But putting the alleys back in the alleys, I guess. Been pretty busy out at the recycle center and transfer station. The project on Plum Street is going on right now. So Daryl Bachman Construction is doing that gutter of hooking in the Britton addition with our street. We're doing that right now. We'll be crack sealing this week around different areas around town. Chip sealing in September and mill and overlay sometime in October, late September, early October. And when those projects get close to happening, I'll put some maps in the packet for you. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Troy. Now we'd ask Jacob Morris to bring us up to date on engineering.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I don't have tons to report on as far as groundbreaking info, but I'll fill you in a little bit of what we've been doing. I think the last time I was standing up here, we were getting ready to submit on some funding applications there in the middle of July. Those were submitted as planned, both for the 7th Street Shared Use Path and Monroe Street Community Access. 7th Street, I believe Troy's meeting with the DOT Thursday for their letter of intent walkthrough, which is standard practice. Following that, we get some feedback, and that formal application will be done in October. Troy had mentioned it, the Spruce and Plum intersection reconfiguration. That concrete work's been ongoing. They'll be doing the valley gutter here shortly, so that'll coincide with a road closure there to keep traffic off that intersection, but should come together in short order. We've also been helping out with some easements, both on the electric side with some of the overhead underground conversions, and then those property surplus easements for sanitary utilities, et cetera. That'll be coming forth here in September, I think that auction is. On the electric side, Jared and his team has been trying to get as much information and coordination out of WAPA as possible. Those that work with WAPA know it's a painful process, but a little bit of headway there as of late to move forward with some of that substation planning, try to get a well-defined project to consider moving forward there with some of those improvements. But likely looking at the rest of the year before we have something a little more solidified in WAPA's concurrence on what the intentions would be out at that substation. And then lastly, just kind of looking towards some 2025 miscellaneous projects, if you will, working with Troy and the Public Works team, with some of those, budget seasons. So we're kind of looking at what projects, curb, street repair type stuff are going to fit within the 2025 budget. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Now we call on the Finance Officer, Chandra Phillips, for her report.
Myself, the Deputy Finance Officer, and the Planning and Zoning Director are planning to go to Mitchell Wednesday afternoon to have a meeting with District 3. Though they are grant writers, they've got some Brownsfield study information that they're going to talk about, some housing studies, and just sit down with a few of them too and have some conversations about some grants that we've been asking about as well, and just update them on the DOT coming in on Thursday as well. SDPAA insurance adjuster from Claims and Associates will be back on Tuesday. So this didn't get recorded last time, but after the last meeting, before we adjourned, you guys asked where we were at with the storm. Ultimately, it was one event, so it's one deductible. So it's a $1,000 deductible for the City of Winter for the entire event. That'll cover the poles, the electrical lines. It'll cover helping us with bringing other people in, transformers that we had, the Dockendorf fuel system that went down. So he is coming back to look at some items that we found after we started cleanup. The fire hall roof had some issues that happened during the storm. The pool house had some issues that they found after they removed the trees. And then the airport found some issues on their roof as well. So he's going to come back and look at those 3 items tomorrow morning. We did have our first employee engagement committee last week. It went very well. We sat down, myself and the HR director, with them for the first 20 minutes of that meeting and explained what the purpose of the meeting was. There's a charter that went behind it. They elect a chair that essentially comes up with the agenda and types up the minutes. And they had some great questions. They had questions about, can you explain to us why we have this? Can you explain to us this rule? Can you explain this? Wanted us to look into how we do evaluations, which is something I've talked with quite a few of you about, is already wanting on my bucket list of things to do, is review how we do evaluations in the City of Winter and what's best for all employees. Talked about some of the benefits that we offer, and is this what we need to be doing, or is there something else that we could be doing? So it went very well. No complaints about department heads, so that was great. And so we're excited to get working on some of their HR questions and hopefully help them answer so that they can be better informed as employees. Item number 2 under new business tonight is appointing 3 real property owners to appraise the surplus property. So this is the 6 lots that the city has for sale for auction on September 9th. Per SDCL 6-13-2. After determining surplus property, the governing board shall appoint 3 real property owners of the entity to appraise the value of such property, and the appraisal shall be filed with the fiscal officer of the entity. The main reason for doing that is so that we can determine how it has to be advertised. If the governing body shall give notice of sale of all surplus property appraised in excess of $2,500, you have to publish a notice of sale at least 10 days prior to the sale. An advertisement of the sale must be published twice prior to the opening or prior to the auction. So if it's less than, then you don't have to do the advertising. We were already going to go ahead and do the twice advertising. That's what we had planned to do, but this way we have followed all the statutes and we're moving forward with that. I have 3 individuals who have agreed to do this for me, for you as council. Jack Burns, Mike Brown, and Roger Farley have agreed to do this and have their appraisals back in by the end of the week. The next thing is, Jake mentioned it a little bit, the easements on the properties. After review with DGR and the city attorney and also the Register of Deeds, it was determined that we can't issue ourselves an easement. So what we have to do is we with the sale of the property, this easement will become yours once you purchase the property. So you don't approve an easement until after it's sold, then you would approve the easement under that person's name, whoever bought that property. So there's 3 easements out there that the city of Winter would want for utilities. The Old Park on 640 East Park Street, there's a sanitary sewer main easement that goes through there. There's also an existing easement with Golden West for fiber optics. That's not a problem, that just goes right along the right-of-way in there. And then the 518 Lamro has a proposed utility easement for the backyard, and then 329 Main and 333 Main have proposed utility easements in the back area as well. I believe you've all seen those because they were part of the packet last council meeting. And then we have a budget meeting on Tuesday the 27th. I know you guys are all looking forward to it because it's our favorite time of year. Maybe I'm alone in that thought, but we will have breakfast here at 7:30 a.m. The meeting will start at 8 a.m. I am proposing an agenda to the Finance Committee tomorrow morning to make sure the lineup is kind of what they're expecting. It's very similar to years previous. We will have to publish that 24 hours in advance. I will probably put it out Friday just so I don't forget on Monday at 8 a.m. to get it out on the window. So we will also have lunch here for you at noonish on Tuesday during that meeting. It will be broadcast.
And it is open to the public.
It is open to the public, yes. Any other questions for me?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chandra. This being time and place advertised for a public hearing, first on the temporary malt beverage application from the Legion for September 1, 2024 at the Derby grounds. Is there anybody here to speak on behalf of this application? Seeing none, is there anybody here to speak against the granting of this application? Seeing none, I'll put it up for a motion. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion to approve the temporary malt beverage application for the Legion, September 1st, 2024, at the Derby grounds.
Is there a second to Mr. Minor's motion?
I'll second that.
Councilman Clay, any discussion?
Mr. Mayor and Council, everything has been received in my office for this application.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion from the council? All in favor of granting the temporary malt beverage application from the Legion for September 1st, 2024 at the Derby grounds, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. At this time, it's also up for a public hearing, the application of transfer of an on-sale liquor license from the Elks Lodge to the Elks Club. Is there anybody here to speak on behalf of this transfer? Seeing none, is there anybody in present to speak against this transfer? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the application of transfer of on-sale liquor license from the Elks Lodge to the Elks Club.
Motion by Hughes, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Clunt. Any discussion on this motion?
Mr. Mayor, I was asked to explain how this works. The Elks Lodge is the club that ultimately owns the building, and that liquor license is in their name currently. The Elks Club belongs to Mr. Jimmy, who is now the cook and selling all the liquor license, or all the liquor and food there at the building. Per state statute, the liquor license must be in the same name and sales tax number as the person selling. It didn't used to be that way. Several years ago, they changed it, and so we're putting it into his name since he is the one actually selling the food and booze.
Any questions on that? Okay, all in favor of this transfer of on-sale liquor license from the Elks Lodge to the Elks Club, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Now I would ask if we would enter into a Board of Adjustments, we'll need a motion and a second, please.
I'll make the motion to enter into a Board of Adjustments.
Motion by Skylar, is there a second?
I'll second. Sorry.
Second by Hughes. Any discussion? All in favor of going into Board of Adjustments, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, the first item on the Board of Adjustments is the right-of-way vacation at Tripp County Rural Water. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion to approve the right-of-way vacation at the Tripp County Water.
Motion by Skylar, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
By Clunt. Any discussion on this? Everybody knows what they're proposing?
For the public's sake, would it be okay if Jake came up and gave an explanation
You
for the
bet.
engineers?
He needs to earn his money anyway.
Where my keep around here? Yeah, I know we've talked about this in some form or fashion in the past, at least at the committee level, if not here, but Tripp County Rural Water originally approached the city in Troy about a land swap, if you will, or, you know, cleaning up the property line so they could do some improvements to the parking lot in front of their building. After some collaboration and such, this is what we came up with. It's essentially vacating the remaining portion of First Street that wasn't vacated with the DOT highway project, and is no longer serving as right-of-way following the street realignment, and then dedicating what is now a City of Winter owned parcel as First Street right-of-way going forward. So this, what you're doing tonight is just the vacation of the existing right-of-way. The exhibit you have in your packet that has kind of those red and blue markups, that's on the plat that will follow. So upon approval of this, then that, and its recording, we'll move forward with that plat, and then they'll have a new legal description, and all that will be much cleaner, and the rural water can move forward with their improvements as they intend.
May I ask a question?
Any questions? Yes,
So
sir.
as I understand, they just want to improve the parking area, right?
Correct.
Concreted or whatever.
Correct, yep.
So it was, yeah, just
Yep.
cleaning that up so they can do that?
Yep, yeah. Obviously, they want to do that on property they own and not,
Right.
not right away. So that's kind of what initially prompted this, was their intention to clean up some parking.
Mr. Clay?
Are you here representing Tripp County Water? Did they get what they're requesting? They're satisfied? I assume so, everybody talked to everybody.
Yep.
and just one-
Yeah, Tripp County Rural Water, Lisa Steele, she had reached out to us to help them out on this, so we're actually assisting them with these efforts, and she's well aware of what's going on here, so.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Skyler?
we as Planning and Zoning also heard it and approved of it, the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Very good, thank you for that.
1 week ago.
Yep.
Same with ordinances, didn't we?
Hmm.
Ordinances too.
Any other discussions? Thank you very much. Great. This will be a roll call vote. We'll start out with Councilman Shaheen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Miners,
Yes.
Clunt,
Yes.
Hughes,
Aye.
and Skylar.
Aye.
That carries a unanimous vote. We'll need a motion to exit Board of Adjustments.
I'll make a motion to exit Board of Adjustments.
Motion by
second.
Clunt, is there a second?
Yep, I'll second.
Hughes. All in favor, oh, you want to have a discussion on exiting? Shut up, Clay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Thank you very much. We have no old business tonight. Okay, I need a name here, Sandra. Okay, Kyle Sweetland. Okay, item number 1. Look for a motion to adjust the wages of Kyle Sweetland in the police department to $24.94 per hour. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion to adjust the wages as you stated of Kyle Sweetland in the police department to $24.94 an hour.
And do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Second by Clint. We'll open the floor up for discussion.
What's this for?
Mitch, maybe you could answer some non-asked questions.
Austin asked a good question what this is for. Every time an officer achieves a certification, they are entitled to a 2.5% bump. His certification had lapsed and he did not wish to regain that, so it's actually a 2.5 decrease in his hourly rate, so,
Oh, so this is going down?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Anything else?
Is he a full-time employee?
He is not, he's a part-time, so.
Any other questions while we have the guy with the answers at the mic? Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a motion by Clay, a second by Clunt. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. This motion carries. To adjust the wages of Kyle Sweetland in the police department down to $24.94 per hour. Item number 2.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to appoint John Jack Burns, Mike Brown, and Roger Farley to appraise the surplus city property which will be at auction.
Thank you. Do we have a second to that motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion.
Second by Miners. Up for discussion, please.
Get 'em sold.
This is a state law that says you have to appoint 3 regular old homeowners to, or landowners to appraise the value, what they think it should be valued at, not what an attorney or an assessor thinks. So at this time, all in favor of appointing those 3 people, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. This motion carries to appoint Jack Burns, Roger Farley, and Mike Brown to appraise the surplus city property for auction. Item number 3, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the street closure request from the American Legion for Monday, September 2nd, 2024 on 3rd and Monroe.
And is there a second to this motion?
I'll second that.
Motion by Clunt, second by Schuyler, to approve the street closure request from the American Legion for Monday, September 2nd, 2024 on 3rd and Monroe. Is there discussion, please? Free
Yes,
lunch.
Mr. Mayor. This seems like a change of procedure. Have we done this by a vote in the past? I thought the Public Safety Commissioner or somebody authorized that.
No, so previous to change in administration, it was the Finance Committee that approved these, and it was the Finance Committee back on May 7th. Actually, it requested that full council have say over all of
So
these street
we did
closures.
that, and I just don't remember. Okay, good enough, thank you.
Okay, good thing we have discussion.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Everything is it's been presented to the office as needed, and it's for their barbecue.
Free lunch.
Yes.
So the motion is to approve the street closure request from the American Legion for Monday, September 2nd, 2024 on 3rd and Monroe. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. This motion carries. Item number 4. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the street closure request from the American Legion for Monday, September 2nd, 2024 on the highway in South County.
Motion by Clay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Clunt? Second by Clunt. Any discussion, please?
Mr. Mayor, we don't technically have authority to approve the highway. The state DOT has to approve the highway, but they also use South County as part of their parade, so this is for the parade. And it's something that Doug Sherman at the DOT has said he wants to work with the city on, and so we've been doing that for the past few years. through committee, but now through full council.
Very good. Any other discussion, council? For the world-famous Labor Day Parade in Winter, South Dakota. All in favor of the street closure request from the American Legion for Monday, September 2nd on the highway and South County, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Very good. Item number 5, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the $1,000 donation to the Winter American Legion for Labor Day barbecue.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Shaheen? Motion by Clunt, second by Shaheen to approve a $1,000 donation to the Winter American Legion for the Labor Day barbecue, free lunch. Is there any discussion, please?
Mr. Mayor, this has been through the Finance Committee. It is budgeted for under non-departmental. And because I forgot to put it on the agenda, if I could request a roll call because this is financial expenditures, that would be appreciated.
Okay, we'll have a roll call vote. Councilman Clay,
Yes.
Councilman Miners,
Yes.
Councilman Clunt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hughes,
Aye.
Councilman Schuyler,
Aye.
and Councilman Shaheen.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next item on the agenda, claims.
No.
Number 6.
The resolution?
Oh my goodness, okay, all right. I skipped one, sorry. Item number 6, do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion, Mr. Mayor. I'd make a motion for resolution 2024-20, a resolution declaring the city of Winter's position on the IM-28. And this motion doesn't really state, but I'm making a motion that we're against it.
That's what it says on the, in your handout.
Yeah, but it didn't say it.
Yep. Is there a second to that motion to be against IM 28?
I will second that.
Schuyler? Any discussion on this? Chandra, maybe you could, for everybody's benefit, a really brief synopsis.
IM 28 is an initiated measure that will be on the November 2024 general election ballot. And it states that it would remove the taxes from items that are consumable by humans. Consumption, it says it's something that can be destroyed by a human. That's a very broad term, number one. So to define exactly what that's all going to go against us on would be one thing. The second item, and the most concerning to the city of Winter, is the city cannot charge taxes on something that the state cannot charge taxes on. So if the state, which is what this is for, the state could not charge on these items that are consumable by humans, the city would not be able to charge that tax either. By our brief estimation, we've contacted the Department of Revenue. They refuse to give us a full-on, because again, it's hard to know what all will be defined in this. Approximately $250,000 a year the city of Winter will lose by themselves. It could be more, it could be less, just once they determine what all that is going into. So that's really the biggest reason the city would want to oppose this, is because it is a huge loss to us.
Very good. Is there any other discussion after that brief synopsis from Chandra?
I would say if any of the public has any questions about why the city or the council or the mayor is for or against this, reach out and contact and have a private discussion also with your council people or whoever.
Very good. Good advice, Councilman Clay. So we'll have a roll call vote on this, starting with Councilman Miners.
Yes.
Clunt,
Yes.
Hughes,
Aye.
Schuyler,
Aye.
Shaheen,
Yes.
and Councilman Clay.
Yes.
All ayes against the passage of IM 28 from the city of Winter. Thank you very much. Now, does anybody want to pay the claims?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the claims list with the addition of a $1,000 donation to the American Legion.
Very good. Somebody coached you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Skylar, second by Clunt. Is there any discussion on this?
Mr. Mayor, there's one item that was pointed out to me this morning by the deputy in accounts payable. The John Deere Financial, $1,390.82. We need to remove that from the claims list. It was actually paid on the previous claims list, so we do not owe that.
Good news. Now we can afford to pay the Legion.
Right.
Right. So I'll amend my
Amend your motion, and Clunt, will you amend your second,
Yes.
please? Okay. Any other discussion? Chandra, you got some more we can deduct?
No, not at this time.
Okay, well, all right. Thank you for that. So with that change, all in favor of paying the claims that are left to pay, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Now, I understand we have an executive session.
We have two.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to enter into executive session for personnel.
Yeah, thank you.
Per South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2 subsection 1.
okay. This personnel issue,
I'll second, Mr.
Chandra, who
Mayor.
was that? That lady from Rural Water that was here?
Sammy Strickland.
Skylar
I've
and
seen her around, I
Clay.
just don't know what her name
We are
is.
now in executive session. Elma, you'll have to leave now, please. And then you come in and see Chandra about filling out a request for not paying that bill, okay? Okay, yep. You know what's up.
Camera's still on, I think.
Thank you.